So hello and welcome everyone. I hope the audio and video quality and connection are clear and strong. I am Bante Warapanyo. I am a Buddhist monk currently living in Hanoi, Vietnam. I have been living as a Buddhist monk for the past 5 years, and I have been on the journey of meditation and Buddhism as a way to face and deal with my suffering for 10 years. The purpose of our meeting tonight is to go through a reading from the great Zen master MAZU. MAZU is a Zen master from ancient China who spoke about the ultimate truth that is underneath all appearances. All of our ideas, our beliefs, our stories, our complicated thinking, underneath anything and everything that arises, the truth is there. Thich Nhat Hanh has said before, Zen Master Thich Nhat Hanh, that the mind is a clear blue sky. So although thoughts come and go, clouds come and go, experiences, anxiety, people and places and situations come and go, the true nature of the mind is like the true nature of the sky. It is a clear blue sky. Now, if you are here on Discord, I invite you to share your camera, and this can be an act of generosity while we are gathered here together. I'm sure you can imagine it's nice to see the people that are together with me practicing. And I know it's nice for everyone else as well. And for anyone who's joining on YouTube, go ahead and say hello. Maybe leave a smiley face or just introduce yourself. Let us know you're here. And that's a great way to make your presence known as well. This is part 2 of a reading that we're going through, but really each and every sentence is talking about the essential point, the fundamental point. So from one sentence to the next, the opportunity to get the point is there. We don't need to have done research beforehand. We don't even need to be a Buddhist or a meditator to understand these teachings. We simply need to be someone who is really willing to listen from the heart, to put down all of the reliance on complicated thinking, on judgment, and to just step into the direct experiencing and the deep listening as we go through this teaching. So with the lighting of this oil candle, this butter lamp, we will begin our group practice together. And as you see this fire, I invite you to also see the fire and invite the fire of your mindfulness, of your present moment awareness, so that even though there are thoughts, even though there is a drive or a push to go somewhere else or to get something or to leave here or to go somewhere, there is also this fire of just being, just breathing, just seeing, just hearing, just being right here and right now. And as we light this candle, I will go ahead and pay homage to the Buddha that is representing our own real potentiality to become enlightened, to become free from suffering, and to wake up right here and right now. If you know this chant of Namo Tassa, you are welcome to chant along with me. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Let's also take refuge in the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. That is taking refuge in our own ability to awaken. That is taking refuge in the teachings leading to awakening. And that is taking refuge in the community that is concerned with waking up. Buddham saranam gacchami. Dhammam saranam gacchami. Sangham saranam gacchami. Dutiyampi Buddham saranam gacchami. Dutiyampi Dhammam saranam gacchami. Dutiyampi Sangham saranam gacchami. Tatiyampi Buddham saranam gacchami. Tatiyampi Dhammam saranam gacchami. Tatiyampi Sangham saranam gacchami. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And we can all make a bow if it's comfortable to do so. So my friends, the great joy of this practice is that it is interactive. We are not studying this academically. We are listening to this experientially. And that means if you have a question, if something stands out to you that you'd like to ask about or share something from your experience about, the opportunity is there, especially if you're here in Discord. Also, as we go through the reading, I will do my best to make sure that everything is accessible as much as I'm able to. Some of these terms and teachings are even difficult for me. So we will try to explore this text together and make the very best use of these teachings to inform our path to enlightenment and the recognition of our own enlightenment in the here and now. Okay? So let's begin. A monk asked the great master MAZU, "How does one cultivate the way? How does one develop on the path?" The master said, "The way is not in the realm of cultivation. If you speak of attainment by cultivation, then whatever is developed also decays. Thus, you are the same as a disciple. But if you say that means no cultivation, you are the same as an ordinary person. So the major point here is that this enlightenment, or this true nature of the mind, is not something that can be cultivated, not something that can be produced. Because if it could be produced, if it could be cultivated, then it would be subject to decay. It would be subject to falling away, and the true nature neither arises nor passes away. The true nature neither arises nor passes away. The monk also asked, by what understanding can one attain the way? So the monk asked, by what kind of understanding can one realize enlightenment, or really get it, really understand it? The master said, your own nature is originally complete. How about that? Your own nature is originally complete. We are tending to think about, what are we going to eat? What are we going to do? What are we going to drink? Where are we going to go? How are we going to solve this suffering? How am I going to develop myself? Right? How am I going to deal with my life? The monk asked, by what understanding can one attain the way? By what understanding can one truly become free? The master said, your own nature is originally complete, so that there is nothing to get, nothing to seek out, nothing to avoid, nothing to develop, nowhere to go and nothing to do. Your own nature, your own essential nature, right here and now. If you can recognize it, you will understand immediately. Your own nature is originally complete. Just do not linger over good and bad things, and you can be called a practitioner of the path. Just do not linger over good and bad things, and you can be called a practitioner on the path. It doesn't say that there aren't good or bad things. It doesn't say that we don't deal with success or failure, or blame or praise. It doesn't say we don't fall into anxiety or depression or difficulty. But it says, the master said, your own nature is originally complete. Just do not linger over good and bad things, and you can be called a practitioner of the path. Do not be stuck in your likes and dislikes. Do not be stuck in the positives or the negatives. Don't linger there, even if it's been a week, even if it's been a month, even if it's been your whole life. Don't linger there. Refresh and restart, beginning anew, just like this flame. Where would we be without this fire? Where would we be without this flame as a human beings, as a society, as a community? This flame encounters great difficulty. This flame encounters things that are difficult to burn, things that are easy to burn. But it doesn't linger over anything. It doesn't linger over anyone. To grasp good and reject bad, contemplate emptiness and enter concentration is all in the province of contrived effort. So we tend to get these notions or these ideas as spiritual practitioners, as meditators, as Buddhists, as people who are on the path, that somehow we need to do this certain method, or we need to adopt this certain philosophy. We need to contemplate emptiness. We need to enter into deep concentration. We need to do all of these special things. The Zen master here is saying that to grasp the good and reject the bad, to try to be skillful and try to avoid being unskillful, is all in the province of contrived effort, is all in the province of complicated thinking, contrivance, calculation, and that our true nature is not calculated. The truth is not contrived. It is the nature. So we need to watch our meditation practice. We need to watch the way that we are showing up in our Buddhist path or in our spiritual path, our meditation path, even if it's at a meditation retreat, or we have a very strong understanding of a certain meditation method and a tradition. We need to be very careful that we don't fall into this way of grasping the good and rejecting the bad, contemplating on this notion of emptiness or the void or nothing, nothing, nothing. This is all in the province of contrived effort, wasted effort. You're not seeing your true nature. You are attaching to practices and goals and special experiences that you want to get. This isn't the point. If you then seek outwardly, you will become further estranged, increasingly remote. So if we approach our spiritual path, our enlightenment path, by grasping on the good and rejecting the bad, contemplating this big idea of emptiness and entering into some kind of concentration practices, right? Some intensive practices, chanting, meditating, doing these kinds of things. This is all in the province of contrived effort. So you're being contrived, you're being put on, you are adding complication to what is natural. You are adding waves to the still pond. Now, if you then seek outwardly from this place of contrived effort, if you then seek outwardly, you will become further estranged, increasingly remote. Estranged from the true nature, remote from not someone, not some place, not some time, not some situation. Just this, just the water is wet, fire is hot, ice is cold. So here's the prescription. And anyone who's here and able to hear this and have an understanding of this, you are blessed. Just end mental calculation of the world. Just end mental calculation of the world. A single moment of thought is the root of birth and death in the world. Just don't have a thought, and you remove the root of birth and death. Then you gain the supreme treasure of a sovereign of truth. Now, this teaching about just don't have a thought, just don't have a thought, is not about clearing the mind, is not about emptying the mind, not about emptiness or rejecting our experience. It is more in line with thinking, non-thinking, dwelling in, not dwelling, just opening to this present moment experiencing in itself, without anything needed to add or anything to take away. So it's active and it's not based in rejection. It is active and not based in rejection. Then you gain the supreme treasure of a sovereign of truth. For countless eons, people's illusions, doubts, and distortions, falsehoods and egoism and pride have combined into one mass. Therefore, Scripture says this body consists of a conglomeration of elements. When it comes into being, it is only elements becoming active. When it passes away, it is only elements becoming quiescent. So rather than someone, rather than this ego, rather than this story, it is a matter of elements coming together and elements passing away. Elements coming together and elements passing away. Not about someone in particular. Not about some experience in particular or some perspective in particular. Not about someone, not about some place, not about some situation, not some created truth, but just cause and effect coming together. Water and fire mixing and creating steam. For countless eons, people's illusions, doubts, and distortions, falsehoods, egoism, and pride have combined into one mass. Therefore, Scripture says, this body consists of a conglomeration of elements. When it comes into being, it is only elements becoming active. When it passes away, it is only elements becoming quiescent. When these elements become active, they do not say, we are active. And when they become quiescent or quiet or calm or settled, they do not say, we have become quiescent. When preceding thought, succeeding thought, and intervening thought do not await each other, passing away into quiescence moment to moment, this is called oceanic concentration. So when a past thought and a present thought and a future thought are not awaiting one another, whatever thought arises, passing into quiescence, passing into settling naturally, passing into passing away naturally. This is called oceanic concentration, oceanic awareness. Not about contrived effort, not about a particular practice or a particular experience. Oceanic concentration. It takes in all things, just as 100,000 different streams return alike to the ocean, all to become ocean water. Maintaining a single flavor while containing all flavors. Dwelling in the ocean, you merge myriad streams, like someone bathing in the ocean using all the waters. So it is that in opening to a single moment of no thought, opening up to a single moment of not someone, not some place, not some situation, not some experience, not some right or wrong. Previous thought, present thought, and future thought naturally pass away without relying on one another, without being in a state of interrelationship with one another. In a single moment of no thought, we can call this oceanic concentration. When preceding thought, succeeding thought, and intervening thought do not await each other, so that there is not self-fixation or self-identification with previous thought, present thought, or future thought. When these thoughts are not awaiting each other or depending on one another, referencing one another, passing away into quiescence, moment to moment, naturally fading away, moment by moment. This is called oceanic concentration. This oceanic concentration, or the natural passing away of previous thought, present thought, and future thought, this takes in all things, just as 100,000 different streams return alike to the ocean, all to become ocean water. This candle, oil candle here, is a little tiny candle. And yet, inside of it and the very nature of it is the core of the burning sun. Maintaining a single flavor while containing all flavors. Maintaining a single awareness while containing all awareness. Dwelling in the ocean, you merge myriad streams, like someone bathing in the ocean using all the waters. Therefore, disciples, or we can say believers, understand confusion, while ordinary people confuse understanding. Disciples do not know that the mind of sages basically has no stages or ranks, cause or result, or conceptions of gradation. Cultivating causes to realize results on the basis of false ideas They dwell in empty concentration for tens of thousands of eons. So talking here about disciples or followers, people who haven't quite got it yet, who haven't seen their self-nature, who haven't seen their essence yet. Disciples understand confusion, while ordinary people confuse understanding. So ordinary people, or people who are not on the path, confuse understanding. They think they understand, but actually their understanding is just grasping. It's just attachment. It's all in the realm of contrivance of someone at some place, at some time, in some situation. So they confuse understanding. For disciples, they understand confusion. They understand that even in confusion, there is nothing to be confused about. You will still feel confused. You will still feel anxious. You will still feel difficulty. But you understand that there's not too much to be anxious about. There's not too much to be depressed about. There's not this fixed, solid self that is responsible for this confusion. However, disciples, people who have not yet attained the essence or realized the essence, seen their self-nature, seen their own face, disciples do not know that the mind of sages, the mind of the Dharma carriers, disciples do not know that the mind of sages basically has no stages or ranks, cause or result, or conceptions of gradation, conceptions of development. Cultivating causes to realize results on the basis of false ideas, they dwell in empty concentration for tens of thousands of eons. Even though they are already awakened, having awakened, they revert to confusion. The enlightening beings look upon this as like the pains of hell, failing to see Buddha nature because of sinking into voidness and stagnating in quiescence. People of superior faculties awaken as soon as they hear a real teacher's guidance, suddenly realizing the fundamental essence without going through steps, stages, or ranks. Therefore, it is said, ordinary people have changeable minds, whereas listeners do not. Enlightenment is spoken of in contrast to delusion. Okay, so enlightenment, becoming enlightened, is spoken of in contrast to being deluded. Since there is fundamentally no delusion, since there is fundamentally no one in particular to be deluded, since this whole notion, this whole idea of someone that is separate from everything is just nonsense, really. Since there is fundamentally no delusion, enlightenment does not stand either. Clinging to enlightenment and clinging to delusion is just clinging. We start to work with the subtler aspects of our action. Everyone has been absorbed in the nature of things for countless eons, never leaving absorption in the nature of things as they dress, eat, and converse. The functions of the 6 sense organs and all activities are all the nature of things. Every phenomenal aspect, every material phenomena, every mental phenomena, everything is preaching the truth. And in fact, it's not preaching the truth to you, it's preaching to the choir of all sentient beings and all living beings and non-living beings. Not someone. Not someone. And actually, this not someone is very accessible, isn't it? In a single moment of mindful breathing, in a single moment of just breathing, where is someone? Come out here, Bhante, show your face. Even if we hear a voice or we hear a thought, what is that? What kind of fool are you? What kind of pitiful person are you where someone comes and knocks on your door and says, I'm the President of the United States, you need to come with me. And you say, all right, let's go. We hear a voice or we hear a sound or we have an experience. So what? Open. Look. Penetrate into this present moment experiencing. Listen to this. This is an interesting premise, okay? Enlightenment is spoken of in contrast to delusion. Delusion to be in this self-fixated, attached state of desires and fears and complicated thinking and stories, okay? Whereas enlightenment is peace, freedom, brightening, widening out, ultimate truth, ultimate safety, ultimate peace, right here and now. So enlightenment is spoken of in contrast to delusion. Since there is essentially no delusion, enlightenment does not stand either. Everyone has been absorbed in the nature of things, the nature of truth. Everyone has been absorbed in the nature of truth for countless eons. Since your birth, since even before that. Never leaving absorption in the nature of things, never leaving the realm of the truth. As they dress, eat, and converse. The functions of the 6 sense organs and all activities are all the nature of things. Now listen to this. It's very clear. What did MAZU say before? People of superior faculties awaken as soon as they hear a real teacher's guidance, suddenly realizing the fundamental essence without going through steps, stages, or ranks. Therefore it is said, ordinary people have changeable minds, whereas listeners do not. If you do not know how to return to the source, but pursue labels and descriptions, delusive sentiments arise at random, and you initiate all sorts of actions. Now this is not concerned with the realm of good or bad or skillful or unskillful. This is not concerned with feeding the planet or exploiting and polluting the planet. Rather, it is concerned with wasted energy, wasted effort. It's concerned with getting involved in action and reaction that does not align with you seeing your self-nature, right? Because we get involved with things, right? We find ourselves to be somewhat comfortable, somewhat stable, but then some idea or some situation happens, and then we can't just endure it and to endure it, but we act. We say something or we do something, and now we're entangled in this problem that we've caused. Maybe we acted out of anger. Maybe we acted out of fear. Maybe we acted out of complicated thinking. And we've caused this big knot and tangle, not just in this body and mind, but in the environment. So it's not to say good or bad or right or wrong, but it's to say don't get entangled. If you do not know how to return to the source, but pursue labels and descriptions, Delusive sentiments arise at random, and you initiate all sorts of actions. If you can reflect back for a moment, the whole being is the enlightened mind. If you can reflect back for a moment, the whole being is the enlightened mind. Disciples understand confusion, while ordinary people confuse understanding. Disciples do not know that the mind of sages basically has no stages or ranks, cause or result, or conceptions of gradation or development. Cultivating causes to realize results on the basis of false ideas, they dwell in empty concentration for tens of thousands of eons. Even though they are already awakened, having awakened, they revert to confusion. The enlightening beings look upon this as like the pains of hell, failing to see the Buddha nature because of sinking into voidness and stagnating in quiescence. Do not sink into anything, especially emptiness. Do not stagnate in anything, especially quiescence. Especially calm and relaxed and open. Do not stagnate. You should individually realize your own mind. You should individually realize your own mind. Do not memorize my words. Even if you can explain countless principles, countless notions, the mind is still not more. Even if you can explain all the debate points and all the social points and all the political points and all the principles of human consciousness and human physiology, even if you can explain countless principles, the mind is still not more. And even if you cannot explain it all, the mind is still not less. What can explain your mind and what can't explain, what can explain is your mind, and what cannot explain is your mind as well. Even if you can project duplicates of your body, radiate light, and manifest 18 transformations, that is not as good as going back to the dead ashes of self. In a single moment of present moment breathing, of just breathing, where is the self? Where is someone? Where is the real true person in the real true story? Using your own faculties, using your own mind, your own looking, your own direct experiencing, where is the self? Where is it? Dead ashes, scattered. Now, a lot of people talk about astral projection or seeing colors or hearing someone else's thoughts, or they can heal someone, they can do this, they can do that. Well, how about this? Even if you can project duplicates of your body, radiate light at will, and manifest 18 transformations, that is not as good as going back to the dead ashes of self. Having drenched the dead ashes so they have no energy is a metaphor for disciples' mistaken cultivation of cause and realization of result. Since they have not drenched the dead ashes, they still have some energy. This is a metaphor for the work enlightening beings do on the way as they mature unadulterated, so that evils do not influence them. We are not here to sit in a ghost cave cultivating concentration, drenching dead ashes. The ashes are dead. The truth is right here and now. It's not complicated. It's not convoluted. We don't need to climb a ladder to realize this truth. The truth of ever new impermanent nature. The truth of not someone, not some place, not some time, not some experience, not some situation. Even if you can do all sorts of miraculous activities, that is not as good as going back to the dead ashes of self. That is not as good as turning the mind around and penetrating into a moment of present moment experiencing, present moment breathing, present moment recognition. Having drenched the dead ashes so they have no energy is a metaphor for disciples' mistaken cultivation of cause and realization of result. So a mistaken involvement with someone doing something for some result. Now, since they have not drenched the dead ashes, they still have some energy. This is a metaphor for the work enlightening beings do on the way as they mature unadulterated, so that evils do not influence them. This is not to drench the dead ashes. This is not to ruminate on spiritual ideas of no self. This is not to try and abide in concentration or realize emptiness for ourselves. Rather, we should do only, experience only, share out, offer out only. We should do the work of enlightening beings, enlightening living and non-living beings continuously, offering out, widening out, releasing, refreshing, restarting, not dwelling anywhere. Since they have not drenched the dead ashes, they still have some energy. This is a metaphor for the work enlightening beings do on the way as they mature unadulterated, as they mature unpolluted, uncontrived. So that evils do not influence them. If you talk about the three treasuries of the Buddha's provisional teachings, you could talk for countless eons without exhausting them. Like links in a chain, they never end. But if you realize the enlightened mind, there is nothing else. We can also say it like this. If you talk about the three treasuries of the Buddha's expedient means, expedient teachings, ways of helping people, releasing their suffering, guiding them on the path, guiding them to deal with this problem and that problem, and teaching them about the truth. If you talk about the three treasuries of the Buddha's provisional teachings, expedient teachings, you could talk for countless eons without exhausting them. Like links in a chain, they never end. But if you realize the enlightened mind, if you see your self-nature, if you see your true nature in a moment of mindfulness, in the sunset, in the cloud, in this breath, in a sip of tea, if you realize the enlightened mind, there is nothing else. Dear friends, that is our guided reading and talk for today. We will now open up for question and answer and also sharing experience. Of course, you can also simply turn your mind around and experience your self-nature. How about we do a song? This is one of the easiest songs for people to join in with. So this is a good opportunity for us to practice the song, and it goes directly in line with these teachings. This song has 2 lines. The first line is, I am remembering who I am. The second line is, I am remembering. We do each line twice, and you can sing along with me and harmonize with me. If you're here on the Discord, please unmute your mic, and you can do your best to practice this song together with me. Okay? And let's go ahead and take a tally. Who is going to be singing along? Who's watching on YouTube? If you're going to be singing along, let us know. And I want to see a lot of people here on the Discord unmuting and being ready to join. I see a lot of muted microphones. Who is ready to sing? And if anyone is preparing to leave, you are invited to leave a like on the YouTube video before you go. Some people aren't comfortable with singing songs, but it's a great practice. So I hope you'll stick around and join us. All right, let's sing. First time you can listen to me and how it goes, and then the next time you can join in, and we'll maybe do it a couple times so we can enjoy singing together. First line. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am. Second line. I am remembering. I am remembering. Okay, ready to sing along? Let's do it. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering. I am remembering. All together now. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering. I am remembering. One more time, I want to hear everybody in the back. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering. I am remembering. One more time. I am remembering who I am. I am
I
remembering
remembering
who I
who
am.
I am.
I
I
am remembering.
remember.
I
I
am remembering.
remembering.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Great. So, any questions or sharing experience?
Hey, Bante,
Yeah.
the part earlier that you were reading about, I'll have to paraphrase it, where your current thought is not connected to a past thought or a future thought, I believe.
Yeah.
That made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have this capacity to recognize that rather than trying to concentrate or get into this state of meditation or see colors or feel our body vibrating or something like that, but to recognize this disentanglement from the created truth, recognize this um, shining light of everything, everything that is not someone in particular, and it's right there. It's vivid. It's clear. And
Yeah.
I, in the past, I've when doing guided meditations, I would encourage people to kind of you know be practicing meditation, aware of your body, aware of your breathing, aware that you're just sitting here breathing, and that's the practice. But also to recognize that that is exactly what's happening right now. Nothing else is happening right now. Someone, some place, some time, some story, some situation, past and future, pop like a bubble in the ocean, crash like a wave in the middle of the Pacific. Recognition of disentanglement with self fixation and the legitimacy of that, the authenticity of that, the validity of it, the truth of it. Okay. So, dear friends, don't overthink it, don't ruminate, but see your self-nature. Remember the truth. And when you find yourself in a state of stress or complicatedness or, some story that's taking over your life, take a breath of truth. Arrive. Come home. Okay. Let's finish with sharing the merit. So you can repeat after me. Right? We can all bring our hands together. Merit is this quality of the good effect from our good deeds. So we are here meditating, listening to the Enlightenment teachings, the ultimate spiritual teachings, and we are putting them into practice, and we are opening our heart and mind to the truth. So when you practice that, you make a lot of merit. Good deeds have a corresponding good effect. So we will dedicate these merits not just to be selfish or keep them for ourselves, but to offer out and to share out these valuable merits for all beings. So please bring your hands together with me and repeat after me. May all the merits that we have done till now be dedicated and shared out toward all sentient beings. May all sentient beings rejoice and share in our merits. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. We can all make a bow. Okay, dear Sangha, be well on the path. Hopefully we can join together like this again soon. Be well.